You know, if we re-elect Obama, we are not just going to see an increased deficit, an increased debt, zero growth economy, permanent stagnation. That's the least of it. What's going to change is the psychology of the United States of America. Right now, when Obama took office, 43% of Americans got a check from the government. Now 49.5% do. When he took office, the number of people that were of working age adults who participated in the labor force was about 71%. Now it's down to 63%. And the percentage that paid income taxes was about 57, now it's 49. Leave this guy in for 4 years, and we'll be a nation of people that pay no taxes, do no work, and get entitlement handouts from the government. It's going to be a great country. And the psychology of this is absolutely terrifying. Bill Clinton once told me something. He said, the Republicans and Democrats both favor programs to help the poor. There's almost no difference between them on that. The difference is the Democrats want entitlement programs for the middle class because they want to guarantee their votes by giving them a check and making them beholden to them. And they're afraid that if they don't do that, they'll cut the programs for the poor. But think the difference between food stamps and Social Security. You can cut food stamps, but you can't cut Social Security because that's a middle class entitlement. And that is precisely what Obama is trying to do in the United States, is trying fundamentally to change the psychology of this country, where upward mobility is not by building a business, but by getting involved in politics and getting your people elected so that you can get handouts and kickbacks from them. That's the method of upward mobility that he's bringing to the United States. And it's a serious, serious danger that we could become like that. You know, let me spend a minute on how we got into this economic mess and by implication how we can get out. Barack Obama is treating the wrong disease. He thinks he's in a recession. Business cycle goes up and down every couple of years. That's the normal thing. Boom and bust, we're all used to it. That's not what's happening. It started that way in 2007, but in 2009, the rest of the world came out of the recession, and the United States would have too. Now we're going back in, but we were coming out back then. So Obama got elected, and he said, rather than wait for this to die a natural death, I'm going to go out and spend like hell in order to get us out of this recession. I personally believe that was his excuse. I think what he really wanted was to grow government, and he used the recession as an excuse. But he spent $800 billion, which he borrowed, and he increased the debt to $1.4 and $1.5 trillion a year, the deficit. And then he kept borrowing it year after year after year. And that debt became so huge that it set in motion an economic phenomenon that comes along not every 3 or 4 years, but every 40 or 50 years, called the debt implosion crisis. Happened in the 1770s, happened in the 1840s, happened in the 1890s, the 1930s, and it's happening now. And what that is the debt piles up to a point where everybody just totally freaks out. That's a sophisticated economic term. If I had a blackboard here, I'd explain it's the square root of A minus B divided by 1. Everybody freaks out. And at that point, the lenders stop lending, the borrowers stop borrowing, the investors stop investing, and the consumers stop spending because they're terrified at the level of debt. When Barack Obama took office, forget America's total debt. The total debt of the world, of all governments on earth combined, county, state, federal, and foreign, was $20 trillion. Now, it is $35 trillion. 10 of that increase is the United States, 6 at the federal level, 4 at the state and local level, and authority level. But the debt of the world almost doubled And the world freaked out. It said, this is not going to be payable. This stuff is going to come crashing down around my ears, and I'm getting out as fast as I can. And right now we see the impact of that in Greece and Portugal and Spain and Italy. And we'll soon see it in California and Illinois and probably Connecticut. And what Obama is doing is perpetuating that cycle, because his solution to the economic problem is spend more money and borrow more money. And he adds to the level of the debt that increases the paralysis, increases the panic, increases the immobility, freezes everybody. And when it gets worse, hey, he just borrows and spends more money. He's like the doctor in the medieval times who felt that you were sick because you had evil spirits inside. So they cut open your arm and they bleed you to get rid of the evil spirits. Then when the guy was half dead from lack of blood, they said, see, he still has evil spirits. Take out more blood. And then when the guy died from lack of blood, they said, see, I told you he had evil spirits inside. That's what Obama is doing. He's spending money and printing cash like there's no tomorrow. And it's not working because you can print all the money you want. If people don't want to spend it, they're not going to spend it. It's like you have a 20-year-old dog who's half dead. All he wants to do is sleep on the floor, and your solution is give him more leash. So count it. Banks are now sitting on $1 trillion of cash. They would rather have it sit in their vaults earning nothing than lend it out. And corporations, when Obama took office, they had $1 trillion in cash. Now they have $2 trillion in cash. And there's no interest rates. You don't get anything off the CD. They would rather have it under the mattress, earning no money, than investing it in their own company, expanding and creating jobs. That's how scared to death they are. And households have gotten $1 trillion in federal spending and stimulus money, and you know what they've done? They've saved 90% of it, paying down their credit card bills, their mortgages, their student loans, and all of that. And they're not spending